In the last video, we looked at how to execute a query in the Hive view and the result set, and if there are any errors, where the errors would be displayed. Now let's actually execute a query that, has some real data, no syntax errors, and see how it goes, right? So, the fairly standard query, especially from a data warehouse perspective, there always will be fact tables. You would have to join the fact tables with the dimension tables, and we can do that. But let's just, do a quick summarization of the sales amount and group it by the product key. So let's just execute that. And as it is running, there are a couple of things that happen, right? One is, Hive is actually going to submit a map reduce job, and let's see if we can get the visual explain this time since the job is running. So clearly, this is very similar to the explain plan that is typically available with the standard, relational databases. So, it is saying I'm going to sort 3.4 million rows. I'm going to group 1.7 million rows. I'm going to perform another group by on 3.4 million rows, and here are the total number of rows that are available in the particular table. This may or may not show us. Well, it did in this particular instance. So what happens is, because this Hive submitted it as a map reduced job, and the map reduced job succeeded. This will tell you exactly how and what happened. So it took 11, 0.62 seconds. The queue type was LLAP, and we're gonna get into more of this, details around this a little bit better, but a little bit later. But this is, at least you can see, this is another UI to monitor the jobs and the queries that are essentially being run. Now, I'm just executing one query at a time, but you could have hundreds of users executing, or maybe even thousands of users executing, you know, tens of thousands of queries at the same time. So having information, something like this, is definitely useful. You can look at how it did the map and how it did the reduce, right? Really map reduce is at the heart of anything that you would do with Hadoop and HDFS. And it's actually quite genius, the map reduce algorithm, the way it was built. You can look at some of the counters. You can look at the graphical view, right? It started with map and then reduce, and here is the output. And it's, most of the jobs typically will follow the same steps essentially, right? Are there any vertices? Look at all of the tasks. There were two reducers and only one map. But in theory, let's say you have a fact table with, not just 3.4 million rows, but 300 million rows or even 3 billion rows, right? And that's where the real power of Hive and HDFS and MapReduce comes into play, because you're maximizing parallelization. And you will see many mappers and many reducers crunching the data all at the same time, uh, giving results in a fraction of a second, or sometimes uh, you know nearly in a second or so. So that's all for now, and we'll continue down this path and explore some more. Thanks for joining.